It is a daring and deliberate strategy. Peter Aman, who wants to be Atlanta's next mayor, is making a purposeful pitch to Atlanta's black electorate. That's why he set up camp in the historic Oddfellows building on Auburn Avenue.
Built more than a century ago and dedicated by Booker T. Washington in 1912, this was where African Americans in Atlanta came to watch the movies, and they could sit anywhere they wanted to. This was a special and unique place. Through the 20s and 30s, this is where Black Atlanta came to network and socialize. African American owned businesses thrived here. Indeed, this whole Sweet Auburn district served as an incubator for some of our nation's boldest and most courageous leaders.
Auburn Avenue was once known as Sweet Auburn Avenue. It is also called the richest Negro street in America. Civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King and John Lewis held forth here. Over the past 25 years, however, things have been tough. Now it's bouncing back. Gentrification is bringing in new investments. Still, Peter Aman believes race frames this mayoral election.
While there are some who would like to believe that race is not a factor in the election, there are others who know better, but would have us avoid the issue, just as if it were some taboo topic never to be discussed. I refuse to ignore the fact that race still plays a leading role in how this election is being framed.
Aman believes far too many voters have already segregated the candidates based on race rather than record. He calls that racial calculus.
Race is part of the story of Atlanta, and I will not shrink from discussing it and talking about it during such an important activity such as this, where we're choosing the elected leaders for the next 4 years. In fact, rather than run from race, I say to all of you here and all of Atlanta everywhere, it is long past time for us to even more fully confront this issue so Peachtree can truly meet Sweet Auburn.
And the issues don't exist. I mean, he touched on the issues of race, that there is an issue in this city. It's not fixed. But here he is in Sweet Auburn. You know, this is the home of peaceful demonstration of great leaders that come out of here. And for him to pick this building as his campaign headquarters, I think that alone is a statement of how he wants to approach these issues head on.
Jameson Jones is an Aman advocate who calls himself a proud Grady baby.
I believe in somebody who's for me and for my neighborhood. Like I said, with me being born here and raised here, like I'm from the roughest area in Atlanta. I'm from the Bluff area, Kennedy Middle School. I have seen it stay the same. So whatever a black mayor did differently than, Peter can't do. So if Peter tells me he has a plan to change that, that's what I'm believing in. So I'm believing in Peter as a person and not as a white man.
Peter Aman is a fresh face. This is his first bid for elective office, but he's not new to City Hall. He ran the day-to-day operations of the city as the chief operating officer in Mayor Reed's administration. He even disbanded the notorious Red Dog Atlanta Police Unit because of their controversial behavior.
I had one person say he was just going to be a white Mayor Reed. Another person said that he was just too connected and that he was just basically going to be an extension of what Reed has done. And so, but today he really surprised me the way he came out. He came out with with shots on the race thing, which really took me, I ain't gonna say it took me aback, but it shocked me.
John Hammond is the former CEO for the 100 Black Men of America. He says racial politics must now take a back seat to progress politics.
Race is always a factor, particularly in an election in the city of Atlanta. The city of Atlanta has done a marvelous job about mitigating some of the issues associated with race, but nonetheless, race continues to sort of shape our city. The fact that there's a candidate willing to talk about it and confront those issues head on is really, really important to me.
Critics say Aman is pandering to Black Atlanta. Quite the contrary, he argues. Race, he says, is a real issue that must be honestly addressed.
That so many people you talk to, one of the first things they bring up is some element of race. It may be, well, you're the white candidate, or you have these other white candidates, or there's African American candidates, or can a white candidate win, or is the city shifted from one to the other? So it really does it's not the only thing, and it's certainly not the only thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about the other issues which are here, education and mobility and transportation and equity and gentrification. We have to talk about all those issues. But the frame around it, that's what I meant by frame. Race just comes up in so many ways, and each of those issues.
Aman, virtually unknown just a few months ago, is now a legitimate player in the Atlanta mayor's race, statistically ranking among the top 4 candidates chasing second place.
My name is Peter Aman. I stand before you offering my heart and my passion and my ideas in service to this great city. I ask for you to join me on this journey so that every person, regardless of race, gender, identity, age, or orientation, will come together to advance Atlanta together. Thank you.
I'm Maynard Eaton.